close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hello guys, and welcome back to Dtfx Trading Group. It's good to have everyone in the building. So first and foremost, I'm just going to be talking about the strategy, just breaking it down, as a lot of people have been asking me, like, where is phase one? I've taken it down due to me going to make better videos. So yeah, today is just going to be a little breakdown of the strategy and what goes on. So first and foremost, I like to create a little checklist just to make sure that I have everything ticked off and I haven't missed out anything. So primarily, you'll check news just to make sure, you know, there's not going to be any significant impact on your trading, any significant, you know, volume on your trading. Once news is out of the way, we can look for trades. So obviously, I like to be on the right side of the market, so I like to check out structure. So I'll check out structure externally and internally. So externally, I like to use the 15-minute, but you're completely fine to use the 4-hour, 1 hour, 15-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute, whatever you want to use as the external structure. That is completely fine. And then obviously, with external structure, you have internal structure, what goes on the lower time frames, the smaller time frames, which is in conjunction with external structure, the higher time frame. Because remember, price is fractal, right? So once we've established what structure is externally and internally, I would like to see if we're pulling back or expanding. So primarily, if external and internal structure is both bullish, that means we are now expanding, you know. And if price externally is bullish and price internally is bearish, that means we are pulling back. We're probably pulling back to a higher time frame level, a area of interest, pretty much, to potentially pull back, to expand, sorry. So once I've identified whether we're pulling back or expanding, I like to identify my dealing range, basically my high and my low in which price is trying to trade in. So that way I don't get faked out. I don't think market structure has now switched to this or switched to that. I'm not going to be on the wrong side of the market, because I am now able to identify and differentiate what is going on due to me being able to be able to identify my dealing range. So once that's done, obviously I'll look for my 6 setup, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our 6, which is primarily the tap, sweep, and flip. Then I'll look for areas of interest such as fair value gaps, inverted fair value gaps. Daily profiles is literally just previous day highs, previous day lows, previous week highs and lows, Asia low, Asia high, London high, etc. Then I'll look for things such as SNDRs, which is the supply and demand zone responsible. And then I'll look at higher time frame key levels, and then premium and discount. So once that's all been nipped and bud, I'll look for an entry confirmation just to confirm that I can enter this trade. No entry confirmation, no trade. So that could be either from a 618 tap, which is going to be my limits, my change in state of direction, or my CSS, which is going to be my buy stops or limits, depending on where you want to enter within the markets. And then the most known for you guys will be the valid swing highs and the valid swing lows. So let's get right into it. So right now, if we just change to a line graph, what has price been doing for a while? Price has been creating higher highs, and lower lows. And then what started to happen, we had a shift and price started to make lower lows and lower highs. This is how it looks on the candle. We're making higher highs and higher lows, and then price made that shift and it started to make lower lows. So right now, what would I do? I will look for a level. So I'm gonna just use this level for now. This is a koch, but just for the meantime, I'm gonna use it as a breaker structure. So primarily, I could use this as a zone, but that will come at a later time within this video. So we've had that breaker structure, well, change of character, whatever you want to call it, and then this is my protected high and this is my weak low. So if I just draw out protected high, and this is my weak low. So I've now identified my dealing range, and what did we do? We broke structure to the upside internally. So look, we broke structure. So externally, we was able to identify so externally we was able to identify that we checked news for, we checked news. We've been able to identify that we are bullish externally. Internally we are bearish. We are bearish externally. Internally we are bullish. Let me actually just write that in. So we are bearish, and then internally we are bullish. So no, I did not want to do that. What? Okay. Never mind that. And we are bullish. We've checked our news. We identified that we are pulling back, but I want to double check. So we had this breaker structure, but I want to create another breaker structure just to confirm that we are really pulling back. So I want price to, so this is a valid swing high, so I now need price to break this high, and then now it will confirm for me that we are perfect. So now we broke structure to the upside again. So I can move this across. So we broke structure to the upside. So now this is my protected internal low. You see, this is my protected internal low. So again, we broke structure on the 4 hour, and then internally we are pulling back. This is my protected high from the 4 hour break of structure, change of character, and this is the weak low. So that's my dealing range. So a lot of guys seem to get faked out a lot of the time because they don't know what structure is doing. So anything between this protected high and this weak low is internal, guys. Internal. It is not external. It only becomes external when we break this weak low or we break this protected high. Everything inside of here is internal, guys. Please remember that. We could have 100 break of structures in here, 100 change of characters. It is all internal, guys. It is not external. It only becomes external when we break this weak low and we break either this protected high. That's all it is, guys. That's all it is. So we have identified that we have identified our that we're pulling back, and we've identified our dealing range. So now we are not going to get faked out. So internally, if we now break this internal low, I now know that both structure is bearish internally and externally. Once we break this protected internal low, until then we are bullish internally, guys. That's all it is. So let us see how price plays out. Again, this will be my current zone. And a lot of you guys ask me, I don't know where to draw out my zones. Guys, to draw out your zones is literally where we just break structure or where we get that change of character. So in this scenario, this is a validated swing high. We broke structure. Sorry, it's just going to be a bit messy because I'm just going through it. And look, this is our zone. Again, if I look for another one, this is a validated swing high. We broke structure. And this is my zone, guys. That's all it is. Again, we broke structure, and this is my zone. A zone just helps so we can confirm that we're still going to be either bullish or bearish. Once that zone is disrespected, I now know that price has now flipped the opposite way. That's all it is, guys. Price might not always tap back into it, as you can see in this zone, but it just helps us, you know, trades. That's all it is. So right now, I now want to look for the 6 setup. So we get our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our 6. So I'm looking for the 6 setup. So right now we have our 1, 2. We let price play out. Okay, so we get our 3. We get our 4, and let's see, and then we get our 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our 5. We don't have our 6 yet, but let me just let press play out. Okay, so this will be currently our 6 right now. As of now, this will be our 6. So again, 1 and 2 is just literally the zone. Our validated swing high and our validated swing low. So break of structure is the high, and then our protected low will be the low. 3 is a tap back out of the zone, which can just be a wick. It doesn't have to be a candle close. It could just be a wick. 4 is a tap back into the zone, which is also our liquidity, and then our 5 is our higher high. It doesn't have to be a candle close. It could just be a higher high, so it could just be a wick. It just has to be higher than the 3, and then our just has to be higher than the 3, and then our 6 will be the sweep and then the entry, guys. So that's all it is. 1, 2, 3 out of the zone, 4 back into the zone, 5 higher high, and then currently our 6. So now we have identified our 6 setup. So now I'm looking for areas of interest. So normally I want at least 2 to 3 areas of interest for confirmation. So right now, what do we have? We have a lovely SNDR zone, and I know it doesn't look as clear, but a SNDR is literally just a supply and demand responsible. It's literally the down movement before we break structure. So if we go down to the 15-minute and we zoom in, can you see it's the last down movement before we broke structure to the upside? So on the 1 hour will look much more clearer. Look, we had that down movement before we broke structure. Is the demand zone responsible for creating this break of structure? That's all it is, guys. So, and also we have a bullish fair value gap right there, guys, as you can see, which has been untapped yet. So now we have a fair value gap. That's one. We have a, what's going on now? We have a SNDR zone. That's two. And then we also have we're in a discount zone, which makes that three. So now we have got two to three things which confirms that I am able to take this trade. So now I'll just have to wait for confirmation. So going back to the 4 hour. Again, what's premium and discount? For those that don't know what premium and discount is, it is literally just the 50%. That's all it is. So being lower than the 50% in order for me to potentially look for long. I don't want to short in this area. Why? Because price is too expensive. Why would I want to short there? You know, you could also use the swing, the protected low to the leg high. So in this scenario, and the leg high. So if I just draw out the GAN box, can you see we're still in an area of discount if I use the protected low to the leg high, basically hour 5. We are still in a discount. I will speak about this a little bit more because it comes with the other entry. So let me just remove this. I'll add it another time. So cool. So now what do I want price to do? I want price to tap into this bullish fair value gap and show me some sort of reaction. So yeah, some sort of reaction. So okay, we've now swept. So now I want for validated swing high, I want a candle close above this, and then you will enter. Okay, perfect. So we've now got that validated swing high. So you would enter off the validated swing high. That's entry 1. And then for me personally, I like to use the CSS. So from where we can you see we tapped at least the 618 level. So now I'll have a limit here primarily, and then I'll just put my stop below the 1, or the 1 if you want to be more precise, and then I'll aim for a 3 to 1. Normally I'll aim for 2 to 1, but just for the sake of this video, so this is normally my entry. So validated swing high from the high. Let me just put to the low, couple of wicks below the low, and then couple of wicks. So that's entry 2. I'll sort that out later, guys. And then entry 3 and 4 will be what's it called? So if you grab our fib from the low to the zone high, you will literally enter after you tap the 618, as you can see, and then your stop is at the 1, and then your take profit is at the 0. A 1 to 1 is at the 2.36, so you could move your stop to break even once you tap that, or you could just wait for a price to hit the 0 of the zone. You could also use the remember the protected low to the leg high as the zone. So this could also be your trade where you set your limit again to the 618, stop at the 1, and then aim for the high. Or let me just smooth that. Or you could use the zones 618 type, and then the legs high, which gives you a better risk reward ratio. So can you see how there's 3 different entry models which all oppose the same thing? Let me just 618 type, and then valid swing high. Aim for 2 to 1. This one I'll aim for 2 to 1 as well, might as well, just to show you guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this so it's a bit more clear. So I would have entered once we tapped the so I would have entered once we tapped, and then aim for 2 to 1, which basically brings up. So this trade already won. Like, funny enough, this trade already won. Yeah, look. So look, my trade, this is what I'm saying, that's why I like the CSS. This is why I like the CSS and the CISD. Changing state of direction and kind of structure shift. Because literally, sorry guys. So literally, without the trade even fully taken off, I've already won the trade, guys. I didn't even realize, you know. Yeah, so validated swing high would be this point. Stop at the 1. And I aim for 2 to 1 as well. So let's just see how price plays out. Okay, and bang. So if you entered off this 0618 tap, these 3 trades win. Remember how I used to say enter off a valid swing high? Look, this trade loses, because we remember how I used to say put your stop just below the 6, and we literally got it swept us to continue higher, which is quite annoying. And that's why I don't like using a validated swing high. Or you could have just entered again, you know, but this trade would have lost. I mean, wait, let's check. Go down to that, because it might have won before we lost. Validated. Oh, so we won. Okay, cool. So this trade won. This trade won before we lost. So primarily 1, 2, 3. So whatever way you enter the trade, if you aim for the 2 to 1, it would have won. Obviously, if I held the trade any longer for both of these 2 entries, the trade would have lost. You know, shout out to Mr. Take Profit. How he does it is he will use a CSS. So you use a CSS, but then he will just put his stop at the bottom of the zone, and then he will aim for the end of the zone. That's how he does it. That's how Mr. Take Profit does it. So on his trade, you now got a 3 to 1. That's how he does it. Sometimes if price is going well, he'll aim for the previous high, which gives him a 4 to 1. That's how you could do it if you want to be ultra safe, where you enter really, really early, but you use the higher time frame protected low. I mean, the low of the zone. And yeah, that's the strategy, guys. So within this checklist, we established that externally we were bearish, internally we were bullish. We knew that we was pulling back, sorry. We was able to identify the dealing range. We had our 6 setup tap seat flip. We had at least 2 to 3 areas of interest that we ticked over, and then whatever entry confirmation that you used to enter the trade would have won. yeah, that's all it is, guys. So now that's all it is, guys. You know, literally that's all it is, guys. Obviously, if you want to use this, I don't actually use this fib no more. But if you want to sentence to this fib, it's just this. I prefer OTE fib. You know, but yeah, for starters, you could use this fib, yeah. But yeah, because of the OTE fib, what it does, I can now enter at a much lower level. That's all it is, to give me a better RR. That's all it is, guys. But yeah, so now going back to, let me just okay. So we'll just delete that. So now we broke structure to the upside again. So where's my protected internal low? This is now my internal low. So we let price play out. Okay, again, are these validated swing highs? This one is, because we closed below before we broke structure. So now this is my new protected high. I mean, this is my new high, and where's my protected low? At this point there. Remember, this is internal. This is internal. So we have this zone right here, if price wants to tap back into it, and we also have this zone here. So let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is let price play out. Okay, so we created one, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, and our 5 currently. But let's see what price does. See, we keep going higher. And now what's happened? Let's just confirm. Yeah. So now what's happened now is we have broken the protected high. So can you see now, internally we was pulling back, but internally we was also bullish. You know, we never ever failed. So within all these ranges, can you see protected low wasn't broken. We had a new protected low which wasn't broken. We had a new protected low, so this low would have been our new protected low, which wasn't broken. So all the flow was just kept showing bullish, 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 bullish. But that way we were able to know that I can just look for longs until this zone now flips bearish. And this is how you don't get stopped out. This is how you're on the right side of the market, because you're able to identify that internally we have just been bullish. You know, especially this zone here. If I was to go down to the lower time frame, we have our 6 setup. Can you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our 5. But again, this wouldn't. I mean, if I use the leg low to the leg high, we are in an area of discount. So if you are a bit impatient, you could have entered, but did it tap at least? But we didn't tap at least a 618. So there would have been no room for entry, you know. But yeah, so now go back to the 4 hour. If you let price play out. So look, we broke to the upside. So now all of this, so now we have a new dealing range. We now have a new dealing range. So now this week low is now our protected low. Can you see? You see, this is now our protected low because we broke a structure to the upside, guys, and that's all it is. So now what would I like? So now with this, what can I expect? I can expect for price to pull back some sort to expand. So if you let price play out, so look, if you look carefully, this is a validated swing high. So now what's happened now? We are now internally we are bearish. You see, draw out my zone. And what do we get? We get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5. Well, let's see if we can. And then look what's happened. We have broken the zone. But if I go back, why was this perfect? Because we had an SNDR. If price disrespects this SNDR, what can I expect? I can expect price to shoot on higher. If I go down to the smaller time frame, and let's say I wanted to look for an entry, we don't ever get it. Look, we don't ever get a validated swing high. We don't get a CSS. You know, the only way I get stopped out from this zone is with the 618 taps, and this is why I don't like to use them just by itself, because sometimes you will be on the wrong side of the market, or because structure is bullish. Remember how on this time frame I waited for another break of structure to confirm that we are really pulling back. So I should have primarily waited for another break of this low to confirm that we are actually pulling back for sure. You know, so there are just little things that you can do to just help yourself. So now we broke structure to upside again, and price is just bullish. So not all the time we are gonna pull back. Sometimes we're just gonna keep on expanding, and that happens, guys. You know, it's just being able to read price, look at order flow, see what's going on the charts. And yeah, guys, I hope that makes sense. I hope, you know, you guys can now understand a little bit more on why I enter and, you know, look for certain things. I hope everyone has a good day, and if you have any questions, if you want to reach out to me, just send me a message, shoot me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, hope everyone has a good day. Ciao, 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 ciao.